Let's not waste any time. Wildcat at Bell's Amusement Park, 1997. Imagine you're riding a roller coaster for the first time since birth, and all you see around you is an air of excitement that makes you feel like you're in some sort of paradise. You witness the car slowly climb to the top, expecting it to suddenly go down at a top speed, only to hear a loud pop. You then realize the lift chain used to pull your car to the summit suddenly malfunctioned, and you end up going backwards towards the station in a full-speed, out-of-controlled freefall. That's exactly what happened to Wildcat on April 20th, 1997 at Bell's Amusement Park in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The Wildcat happened to be a people's favorite for those who frequented the Bell's Amusement Park. Nobody wanted to miss this thrilling experience of driving in the Wildcat. Since 1974, the Wildcat did a great job at ensuring that people who drove on it saw the happiness that only could be explained in heaven. And, like I would always say, not every day is a barbecue day. Yes, events suddenly turned upside down as one of the cars experienced a mechanical problem when the safety device meant to keep it from sliding back failed. Before I proceed, I want to say RIP to the 14-year-old boy who lost his life in the process. As expected, the car returned back in a flash, smashing into another car, ejecting the young boy from one of the cars and severely injuring 6 other people. Imagine waiting in line and seeing the cart that just left the station come flying back at top speed, crashing into the cart you were just about to get into. The trauma, bro. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad in Disneyland 2003. Disneyland, the world of Mickey Mouse, the happiest place on earth. The land where badass kids run free, and where Disney adults spawn. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Until a train locomotive derailed and killed one rider and injured 10 others. The wagon train, which consisted of a small locomotive and 5 cars that had a carrying capacity of up to 32 people, had just climbed up a hill and into a tunnel when this sad incident occurred. A wheel assembly fell off the locomotive, hitting one of the axles and causing the back end of the locomotive to kick up and hit the top of the tunnel. The top of the car then struck the undercarriage in the process, killing one man and causing a backup inside the tunnel. The man and everyone else was later extricated from the wreckage by emergency workers 1 hour later.
Bruh.
The Mindbender of West Edmonton Mall, 1986. Have you seen an instance where the price of ignorance turns out to be tremendously horrific? Yeah, this was a similar case to the Mindbender of West Edmonton Mall. The ride had been shut down twice that evening when the operator heard a screeching sound coming from the train. I don't know if it was checked, but it turns out that the ride was later reopened for people to enjoy their day. What could possibly go wrong? It all began on June 14th, 1986. It was very glamorous that day, and as usual, the sun was scorching its warm rays as the cool winds blew from right to left and left to right. The mall was packed to the brim with people shopping. There was even a concert that some people were attending. But the whole beautiful day quickly turned ugly when the Angel of Death decided to play his role in taking away people's souls. It was at this moment that the roller coaster that was carrying some fun lovers experienced a huge problem. Just a few minutes into the ride, the last car of the train completely derailed at 100 kilometers per hour, or 64 miles per hour for all my American viewers. The derailed car flew 64 miles per hour into a concrete pillar, causing 4 passengers to be ejected and hurled into the concrete floor. The victims? Well, Tony Mandrusiak, 24, and his wife, Cindy Sins, 21, were violently killed when the train derailed. Sins was partially decapitated when her body was thrown into a concrete ledge. Not only them, there was another death. David Sager, also 24, which occurred moments after the derailment when his cart stalled upside down during one of the loops and his body fell from the ride onto the mall floor. 19 other people were also injured in the accident. Willard's Wizard of Marriott's Great America Amusement Park, 1980. Clocking in at 70 feet or 21.3 meters high and a speed of 67.6 kilometers per hour or 41 miles per hour, the Willard's Wizard caused a terrible accident. The accident occurred on March 29, 1980, when a teenage boy was stepping onto the ride. Without warning, a second train came up behind the one he was boarding and rammed it, throwing the teen boy onto the tracks. You'd think he would stop there, but no. The train he was boarding ended up rolling to him on the tracks, crushing him in the process, leaving 8 other people injured as well. Galaxy Spin incident at Fun Spot in Kissimmee, 2023. Now, This incident should serve as an infinite reminder to those with kids that you need to be careful at all times while with them. Imagine seeing the little Jerry in a sea of excitement that makes him want to stand up or jump just to be active with it. Yes, this is exactly what happened to the boy. He was in the company of his family members when they visited the theme park. As usual, the theme park was filled with people, all showing their teeth out of extreme happiness and excitement that surrounded them. Boldly, the boy seemed to have known the park a little too well, and that was true because a family member had confirmed that they'd been in the park at least 2 times before. Together with his 10-year-old brother and cousin, they boarded the Galaxy Spin, and in a flash, the ride went as the charters of young kids blast the air out of excitement. With all this happening, the young boy felt he could not withhold the thrilling maneuvers and decided to stand up and be the bolder one amidst the sea of shouts, laughter, and excitement. Over the hills, down the valley, in the spins, the ride didn't fail its clients at showing its magic of extreme abilities at Fun Spot. Suddenly, because of its speed, the young boy was ejected from the ride and fell off. He was later found to have suffered severe injuries to his head, lip, and hip, and was later referred to Orlando Health Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children for medical checkup. Top Scan Incident at Adventureland in 2005. For 43 years straight, Adventureland had a great safety record until 2005 when innocent lives were claimed. Now, this case happens to be mystical and also panoramic. How the killings happened is not something you can believe. First, a park employee was killed by a kid's roller coaster called the Ladybug, and then a few days later, a female rider was ejected from her seat onto the Top Scan incident. According to eyewitnesses at the scene, some say that the woman was not properly secured to her seat, leading to her eventually be hurled up from the Top Scan ride. She went up for at least 25 feet when gravity did her no mercies and landed her on a car in the parking lot. Imagine trying to explain that to your insurance. You wouldn't believe what happened to my car. A lady came flying out of the sky and landed on my... Hello? The spooky thing about these deaths is the fact that they occurred only a few days from each other at the same park. Space Journey Incident of EcoVenture Valley 2010. This accident happens to be one mysterious incident that, up to now, no one knows the cause of the accident. Space Journey, as the name sounds, was one beautifully designed roller coaster that was meant to evoke the feeling of a rocket launch. Space Journey 2 cabins, where riders were seated, all turned upside down, tossing the passengers. Under unclear circumstances, no one actually knows why the cars flipped in the first place, but many were suggesting that a physical failure of the rear seats could have caused the accident. But honestly, no one truly knows what happened. Fujin Rajin 2 Incident of Expoland 2007. Like any usual Children's Day where children are expected to be happy, May 5th, 2007 marked a bad day for one young woman who lost her life and the whopping 19 children who were injured in Osaka. The roller coaster's design was built in such a way that riders were required to stand throughout the 0.65-mile course, where the 6-car trains reached top speed of 75 kilometers per hour or 46 miles per hour. Things looked normal that early afternoon when 20 passengers got on the Fujin Rajin 2. The roller coaster was more than halfway over when suddenly the second car derailed, tilting dramatically to the left toward the guardrail. This was when a certain young woman struck her head on the railing as the coaster roared down the tracks, losing her life in the process. After finishing making the horrible scraping sounds, the coaster finally came to a stop 328 yards later, leaving 19 other passengers fatally wounded. The Big Deeper Incident at Battersea Park Fun Fair 1972. I don't know why anyone would even bother getting on a wooden roller coaster. In fact, they have a reputation for being a life risk since they wear out quickly and require typically a great deal of maintenance. A small mistake or a few termites will put you on a t-shirt in no time. At London's Battersea Park Fun Fair in May of 1972, the children's favorite, the Big Deeper roller coaster, became the site of history's worst roller coaster accidents. It all started when the ride was being pulled to the top of the launch hill. Suddenly, the hill chain detached from one of the trains and the anti-rollback mechanism happened to have a defect. This caused the whole train to come back down the hill and smashed into another train waiting in the boarding area. Sounds familiar? Although similar to the first ride we spoke about, this was worse as the incident caused 5 children to be instantaneously killed and 13 others to be seriously injured. For nearly 2 years, the roller coaster was never reopened and the Battersea Fun Fair Park was shut down as a result. The Derby Racer Accident of Revere Beach, 1911 to 1936. I want you to think of your favorite roller coaster or even theme park. Imagine the fun times. Imagine how great it was to go there. The excitement. Now, imagine your favorite place slowly becoming the place where more and more people died at. Your favorite place slowly turning into a cemetery. Perhaps it's cursed, who knows? But Derby Racer, a once most beloved roller coaster by many people, suddenly became a center where the devil did his best job at putting people in the grave. You see, before things actually got ugly at Revere Beach, the Derby Racer was a place that you couldn't miss to hear and see teenagers screaming and taunting each other as one car pulled ahead. Then the other, through a series of dips and curves and course. But all this excitement and fun quickly turned to tragedy when the roller coasters started displaying a record of fatal injuries and deaths. The first one was in June 1911 when the treasurer of the roller coaster company was fatally injured when he stood up to lecture passengers about safety. "Ain't nothing to worry about this ride, it's super safe. Just put on your seatbelt and..." Yes, immediately after this incident, the local officials had to revoke the ride's license until workers could install brakes and safety restraints in the passenger cars. But as if that was thought to solve the problem, in 1917, a man lost his hat as the train headed up a steep incline, and he fell out of his car while attempting to recover the hat. He tumbled onto the track, and upon falling, he was immediately hit by another train and dragged 35 feet high. He died nearly after breaking every bone in his body. After these two occurrences, the Derby Racer was later demolished in 1936, all because of its bad reputation, and quite frankly, I think it should stay buried. But it was later replaced by a new ride called, drumroll, the new Derby Racer.
Bruh.
Creative. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, and remember, knowledge is power.
Knowledge.